Everybody, welcome back to the Combat BS show. We are so fucking back. The UFC has a banger event this weekend at the White House. We're gonna get into all that today. You can see I'm wearing the Sugar Sean O'Malley merchandise today because he fights on the card. A lot of other big name fighters, but we'll get into all that real quickly. I want to recap the Bilal Muhammad main event. Um, your boy was right. I didn't do well in the rest of the card. I thought that was going to be a great money making card. I ended up losing a little bit of money, like barely any. I placed $15 in bets. I lost $4.90. So whatever. But the main event, I was spot on. I thought that Bilal would just look worse the whole way, and I thought that Bilal would just get pieced up. Not really have much of a chance. Thought maybe he could get some takedowns in the earlier rounds, but the Bonfim was just going to be able to damage him to the point where he wouldn't be able to get those takedowns. Instead, no takedowns at all. Easy breezy the whole way for Gabriel Bonfim, even laughing at him when he's knocking his mouthpiece out, just making it as easy as possible for himself. So good for him. And the other topic I was going to cover, I tweeted out on my Combat BS Twitter account, which please go over there and follow if you don't, because I do like to get insights from what people who actually watch the sport think, and people who watch my videos I would assume are real fans of the sports because I am not a very big creator. I'm very small. I'm sure if you're watching my videos, you're just looking for somebody that you really want to like. You really want more information about the sport. You really want to hear other people's passion about the sport. And so I was just really curious, how much do you think the UFC's viewership can grow through this next 3-4 month period? Because I personally think they haven't done a very good job these first few months on Paramount Plus of capitalizing on the moment of, hey, we're off pay per view. It's hard to get fans to come over into a new sport that was on a pay per view model that aren't huge fight fans. And when you start the year with supposed to be a return to the female goat, doesn't happen. Supposed to be Ilya versus Patty, doesn't happen. Gaethje Patty, fine main event, but sloppy, fun, but not great. Diego Lopez and Alex Volkanovski, a fight we've already seen, goes the same way. Charles Max, lots of grappling. People don't like that. Yuri main event, but then Yuri gets KO'd in a horrible way. Cool that Olber fought through the injury, but it's just Hokit fight was on there. That was sick. But really, there's not a lot of big names. There's not a lot of big title fights. There's not a lot of big events in general. This early part of the schedule, and if you look at the calendar right now, over the next about 3 months, let's say, now until September-ish, the events are going to be the White House this weekend. Conor McGregor card stacked with other young up and coming fighters with Gable Steveson, the new addition to the UFC, who everybody from the wrestling world loves. Or he's controversial a little bit, but you know what I mean. He's a superior athlete, a supreme athlete. People want to watch him fight. Big character. Loney Kavanaugh and Brandon Royval going to be a banger fight. BSD and Patty going to be a banger fight. Conor Max going to be cool. I don't know how great of a fight it'll be. And then leading into that, we get a White House, a Conor McGregor, and then we get a two title fight card in Philadelphia, I assume, and a Joe Pyfer featured bout, which is solid. I'm curious if you guys think in the audience, leave a comment below. Do you think it's anywhere from 1 to 5% growth? Do you think it's anywhere from staying the same? Do you think it's anywhere from I don't know, 5 to 15%? Do you think it's upwards of 15%? I'm just really curious what you guys think as viewers, because me personally, I think there's a real potential to grow the viewership by 10 to 12% here. Because White House card's huge. A lot of people will subscribe to watch it. And then if you can get, because it's July 11th, if you're wanting to cancel the Paramount membership, you'll still have Paramount for the McGregor return. So we get people to watch the White House card and the McGregor return on one month worth of Paramount. And if they like those, maybe they keep their subscription and continue with becoming a UFC fan. And given there's an Islam title fight, more than likely against Ian Gary, rumored to be Piotr Jan and Merab Dvalishvili, possibly like a Mackenzie Dern title fight somewhere in there, possibly the month after that, a Volkanovski fight in September. It's just there's a lot of potential to build the fan base, and I'm really excited for that. So I just want to hear what you guys think about that. But anyway, as we were saying, let's get into the most important part of this weekend. Let's get into it, top to bottom. UFC White House, Freedom 250. I will share my screen real quick so you guys can actually see what I'm looking at here. There we go. All right. That's beautiful. All right. Diego Lopez and Steve Garcia. Now, I like to use this website, Agent MMA. It does a really good job breaking things down with AI. And what did I just do? Oops. I really like to look at this performance snapshot because it shows you how good their takedown defense is. Steve Garcia's takedown defense seems to be really high. Diego Lopez also doesn't mind being taken down, so it would probably be similar if he was actually trying to fight the takedowns. Sometimes Diego just wants to go to the ground and try to get a submission on you. You got completed. Diego's 50-50. Steve Garcia's less. But I think Garcia mainly goes for when he's hurt, so that makes sense. Strikes absorbed per minute. Steve Garcia has way out ahead of Diego Lopez in defense. Striking accuracy, pretty similar. Striking volume, Garcia is higher. Submission threat, Diego way above. Just looking at stuff like this just gives you a nice insight to the fighters. And this kind of the stuff makes me think like when you have to look at it, um, who do you really want to bet on, right? I like Garcia on the feet a little more, but Diego does pack a punch. But I like Diego a lot more on the ground, and I think he can do the damage there to really get Garcia out of there. Garcia gets hurt in most of his fights if you watch him fight, but is able to battle through like a true fighter. We'll see if he can do that against a guy like Diego Lopez, though. It's tough. Let's just go through them all, and then I'll give my breakdown of my pick. I think this is the next fight on the card. See, here we got Michael Chandler slightly better on the submission and ground takedown stuff, but the takedown defense of Rufi is not great against high level wrestlers, but it's solid. He was taken down at will by Benoit Saint-Denis, but that's about it. Pretty similar everywhere else, but we know that Rufi has a much longer reach and is much more difficult to hit. You don't want to stand with him. This one, Bo Nickel looks a little bit better in most places other than striking volume. We'll see how it plays out on the feet in the fight. Josh Hokett. They just don't even have a block up there for him. Cool. Sugar Sean O'Malley and Eamon Zahabi. Cool. I mean, not that interested in looking at this, but cool. Wearing the Helwani shirt. What the hell? Cool. Look at the last two fights of the card here, real quick. Yeah, about what I expected. Pereira's a little bit better takedown defense and takedown accuracy, given he's only ever shot like two takedowns in the UFC, and one of them was against Izzy. I don't remember when the other one was, but he just didn't get it. And then obviously his takedown defense has been better because he's been fighting in a lower weight class and gone to been a heavyweight his whole career. People's only chance of beating him is wrestling for the most part. And Ilya Taporia versus Justin Gaethje. I mean, Justin has no submission threat, no damage avoidance for the most part, but better striking volume, slightly better accuracy. But you know, Ilya's just not going to get taken down. He's going to hunt you down. He's going to let you have things and let you think you got him, and then he's going to capitalize when it's his time. So let's go into my breakdowns. We'll look at the fights top to bottom. Diego Lopez versus Steve Garcia to open the card on the White House. This will be taking place around 7 p.m. Central Time, 7:15 p.m. Central Time. I love this fight. This fight is perfect to start off a UFC pay-per-view or a UFC major event like this. Steve Garcia, I think, is on a 7-fight win streak or an 8-fight win streak. I think he's got like 6 KOs in that time span or 5 KOs, something ridiculous. KO David Onama, did he KO Calvin Kattar? I'm pretty sure he did. And then Diego Lopez, obviously the 2 most recent title fights against Alexander Volkanovski. Tough to beat that guy even in his older age. And then fighting Gene Silva, getting touched up on the feet in that fight, and then finding the spinning elbow. For me personally, huge Diego fan. I love Steve Garcia. I respect the hell out of him. He's a great fighter, but if Diego Lopez's chin holds up early on and he starts to feel Steve Garcia's power, I think Diego's slick enough at this point in order to find a way to get the fight where he wants it, whether that's on the ground or whether that's in a position on the feet where he's confident, like clinch work, uppercuts, that type of stuff that he's done in the past. I just think there's like a 35% chance Diego Lopez knocks him out, 25% chance Steve Garcia does, 25% chance Diego Lopez subs him, and 15% chance it goes to decision. It could be either guy, but I just like Diego more. If you're going to take a guy here, I would take Diego on the money line. But I have my betting stuff for this fight card is bet with enjoyment in mind and with value in mind. Those are the two things I did. So I'll show you what I mean later on in the combat bet slip segment at the very end of the episode. Now let's go to middleweight. Kyle Dawkins, Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel and Kyle Dawkins is it's a fun fight. Kyle Dawkins cut from the UFC, comes back, wins. He's on a 2-0 streak. I think he's knocked out Michelle Pereira and a submission against Joe Mearshart. And then Bo Nickel lost to RDR and then knocked out Adolfo Vieira. Bo Nickel is very good he's getting craftier on the feet, but he's very good at the with the feinting takedowns or out of the clinch strikes, that kind of thing, because he is such a threat in the takedown realm and in the wrestling realm that it makes it very difficult for guys to commit to anything, and they leave themselves open. And Bo's been able to capitalize on that so far in his career. And a guy like Kyle Dawkins, I think, has to force Bo to wrestle him. I think if you're in Kyle Dawkins' shoes here, you need to make sure, like, leave it all out there. Don't second guess yourself. Don't get scared of Bo taking you down. Be willing to get taken down in order to change straight strikes in those clinch situations. Because Rodolfo Vieira got in trouble a few times in tight positions where he kind of was thinking takedown. Bo landed a few strikes, and then Bo got comfortable on the feet and found a head kick. You can't allow Bo to feel comfortable in the clinch areas. You got to give him body shots, knees, even hooks in tight, uppercuts, that type of stuff. You can't just be thinking takedowns coming and being worried about it. Anyway, moving on. I like Bo Nickel in that fight, but a lot of people are on Kyle Dawkins, and I can't blame him. He's the exact body type what RDR is, kind of like a tall, lanky 185er, and that body type got Bo Nickel out of there in his first career loss. So I don't hate either side. This fight, excuse me, this fight is just a total stay away from me. Next up on the card, Mauricio Hoofy versus Michael Chandler. This guy, Michael Chandler, just doesn't stop. He comes forward all the time, throwing massive overhands, doesn't want to grapple, wants to be entertaining. We'll see if he goes out there in this fight and just decides, hey, I need to win. He started to wrestle Patty a little bit, but it was hard for him to get across the void, as Mighty Mouse calls it, or the dead space between the fighters. And Patty's not near as good as Hoofy is on the feet. So this fight spells all danger for me. The way I see it going is Chandler's going to hang tough. He's an American. He wants to succeed on the White House lawn. I think Mauricio Hoofy's going to put a lot of damage on Chandler and get him in a similar situation to where Patty had him mounted, but like more so in like half guard, or just kind of like Chandler's on his knees and he's just from behind, like just punched him in the side of the head. I just don't see Chandler being able to last in there with Mauricio Hoofy at 40 years old, when Hoofy's been like so sharp in his UFC and keeping his distance and catching guys on the end of his punches. I just don't see him getting in there. So give me Mauricio Hoofy by knockout, but I do have fun ways to bet all these fights. Heavyweight bout. Last minute added. Donald Trump winning Derek Lewis on the card. Hokett showed out. Hokett got the nod. Josh Hokett versus Derek Lewis. This fight is going to be a very quick knockout for one of them, or kind of one of those fights where Josh Hokett just kind of beats on Derek Lewis for the last 2 rounds of the fight. Maybe loses the first round just because he's trying to keep a distance. I think Hokett's going to get him out of there, but Derek Lewis always has a puncher's chance. So again, I have a fun way to bet it. But give me Josh Hokett. Give me Josh Hokett by TKO. Give me Josh Hokett by sub. Something like that. I don't see it going very long. Sugar Sean O'Malley and Eamon Zahabi. Eamon Zahabi has been talking crazy. He said some shit in media today. I don't know if he meant it fully sarcastically or if he was just is that confident. But he said some shit about being ready for O'Malley's wrestling because I'm a good striker and I don't plan on grappling. Blah blah blah. You can't go into a fight against Sean O'Malley at 135 and expect to not grapple at all because that's his weakness, and he's incredibly weak there. Such a hard road to beat him on the feet, and there's a reason he's been able to get to the title shot. I mean, all the ones he had early on in his UFC career, and then beating a guy in Yawn in a very close decision, and then KOing Alja, all that's on the feet. Merab beating him twice easily is on the ground. Song beats him on the feet. A very good fighter. Like, you just got to hang tough here if you're aiming, put in a little grappling work to make him second guess himself, and then you can start to have some success on the feet. But if Eamon's serious about the whole no grappling thing, I really like Sean here. Sean's just similar to the Mauricio Hoofy style. Just a sniper on the feet, catches guys at the end of his punches. Maybe a little bit of a needs to be ready for a little bit of a brawl and just be able to, put some teep kicks and knees at the middle. But I think he'll be ready to do that. He's a superstar. They shine on the biggest stages like the White House lawn. So get ready. I got Sean O'Malley by decision or KO. Not sure yet, but that's definitely the way I see it going. Co-main event. Can't believe I'm saying this. In a co-main event slot in 2026, Alex Pereira fighting for heavyweight interim gold against Cyril Gahn. Gahn has only been beat as a pro by Francis Ngannou and John Jones. Both of them wrestled to beat him. Pereira's only losses come to Random and then Magomed Ankalaev and Israel Adesanya. This is a super fight if there ever was one. Pereira is very difficult to beat, very heavy hitting, very good at kicking the legs. Gahn is a southpaw. Pereira struggled with him at times. Much harder to kick the legs of a southpaw from the calf kick style that he does. This fight is going to be fireworks. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be one of those ones where Pereira is really going to have to dig deep, in my opinion. But I think over the course of 5 rounds, Pereira will find a kick, a punch, something to make Cyril start to lose that bounce in his step, something to start to wear on Gahn, and then I think he will do what he has to do to get him out of there. I think he will hunt him down. I think he will hurt him like he did on Clive. I think Pereira will become a 3-weight class UFC champion on the White House lawn. Give me Alex Pereira, but you'll see how I'll bet it later on. And in your main event, lightweight champ, former featherweight champ, going for his first title defense, the undefeated Spaniard, Ilia El Matador Topuria versus the two-time interim champ and former BMF champ, Justin Gaethje. This fight is going to be fun while it lasts, but it might not last long. Give me Ilia Topuria by knockout, but again, I got a fun way to bet on it. I think the only way that Justin Gaethje can win is playing the first round super safe, kicking the legs, moving, just long jabs, long kicks of the legs. And then from there, just see if you can get Ilia start to feel that leg kick, start to lose a little bit of his legs. And then after that, you can start to try to get some collar type boxing going on, some sloppy brawl fights in the pocket. It's just going to be really hard to beat Ilia. He's a guy that just stays so perfect and in great position and ready to counter. And if you can't get to Ilia, Ilia is going to get to you. So just be careful what you wish for if you're Justin Gaethje. Heard a lot of things this week where he's said some stuff that ticked Ilia the wrong way, and Ilia and him are going back and forth. Justin's had some good lines. Ilia has some good lines. I just don't think the fighters want to be on the bad side of Ilia Topuria. So here we go. UFC Freedom 250 on the White House lawn. Let's get to the combat bet slip segment. I am so hype. My year-to-date profit is $63.66. I don't bet a lot of money each show. I bet a lot of money when I'm confident or when it's a really big card. Other than that, I try to stay safe. I try to stay $10 to $15 just to have a little bit of fun. But this week, the sleeper pick I found on DraftKings Sportsbook, and I placed this the other day. a $5 bet on the KO method of victory in under 3.5 rounds. $5 pays 727. It's not a lot of profit. It's nothing crazy, but minus 220 for that fight to be knocked out a KO in under 3.5 rounds. Are you kidding me? That's a steal. If you got money like that, put $200 on that. That'll pay you $300. Like, come on. That's money. That's free money. Just waiting. My other bets, like I said, I'm betting this card from a perspective of wanting to be able to watch it and be entertained and not be nervous about picks, not be nervous about what could possibly be going wrong for the fighter that I'm rooting for. I just want to watch the fights and be able to cheer for something to happen in the fights that's entertaining. So here is my 4-fight KO parlay. Just a fight to end in a KO. 4 fights. Ilya Taporia and Justin Gaethje fight to end in KO. Josh Hokett, Derek Lewis fight to end in KO. Pereira and Gane fight to end in KO. Rufi and Chandler fight to end in KO. I mean, 3 of the 4 of those, I don't see how they don't end in KO. And the only one that's close to me is Pereira and Cyril Gane because Gane is such a good mover at heavyweight. But I just at plus 236, $10 pays 33.69. I mean, that just feels too likely to happen to not place that bet. So $10 in on that. And my final bet, a 3-leg parlay. Sean O'Malley on the money line, Mauricio Rufi and Michael Chandler to end in KO, and Diego Lopez and Steve Garcia. Diego to win inside the distance. $10 on that pays 34.51. Those are my 3 bets this weekend. $25 down. A lot of potential earnings. I think it's right up there around, let's see, $65, $72 if all goes well, all goes my way. That would put our year to date above $100, above $125 comfortably. So you guys know what to do. Tune in this weekend. UFC on the White House lawn. It's going to be electric. I'll be wearing my Sugar Sean O'Malley shirt or United States shirt. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to have a little get together. We're going to be watching. It's going to be a good time. And I'm just really excited. I really hope that the UFC puts on another amazing show and that we can all just look back on this event fondly and not with a bunch of hate and vitriol and negativity about the politics around it and all the nonsense. I hope we can all just remember this event as the time Pereira became the 3-division champion. Ilya Taporia had a nice highlight. Diego Lopez, all these fighters that we love, just get to have big moments and really expand the sport. And hopefully in 2 years we look back as like, wow, the MMA fan base grew by 10, 12, 15, 20% that year because of the Conor McGregor return, because of the UFC White House card. And hopefully it's just a win-win for everybody involved. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope everybody does well on their bets. Hope everybody has a good weekend and gets to enjoy the card. We will talk to you in the recap next week.